Things are getting a little quieter around the house, right? Maybe a suitcase by the door or the closet is looking a little bare. That moment when your kid takes that leap into the world on their own, it's a massive emotional thing, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But today, let's talk about something just as big, the financial shift. For both of you.
Oh, for sure. It's a turning point financially, and understanding the money side of things can make it a whole lot smoother for everyone. We've been going through this piece from Fascioli Publishing
Mm-hmm.
that's called Moving Out to Empty Nesters, Where You Should Be Financially. And, well, think of our conversation as your cheat sheet, in a way, to the most important financial moves to think about right now.
Yeah, that's exactly it. The goal here is to give you, the listener, some really clear, practical stuff. Not just a laundry list of things to worry about. But, how do you actually set up a secure financial future for your child when they're going out on their own? And for you, too, as you step into this new phase of life.
Right.
So this deep dive is for you. It's all about getting you ready for what's ahead.
Exactly.
So let's start with the basics, the essentials for your child, as they're just starting to figure out how to handle their money on their own.
What I find super interesting is that sudden shift, the complete responsibility for their finances landing on your shoulders. The article really emphasizes budgeting, and it goes beyond just knowing, okay, I need to pay for rent, utilities, and food. It's about actually grasping how much all that costs and making sure their income can actually cover it.
Right.
There's this helpful guideline that a lot of folks starting out use. It's the 50-30-20 rule. Basically, 50% of your take-home pay goes to needs, like those essentials we talked about. 30% goes to wants, things you enjoy. And then 20% is for savings and paying down debt.
Mm-hmm.
And getting them comfortable using budgeting apps, that can be a total game changer. They can literally see where their money's going.
That 5-30-20 split makes a lot of sense as a starting point. But, and the article touches on this too, there's the whole issue of you, the parent, giving them financial help.
Right.
And it's tough. You want to support them, but when does that support become, well, holding them back from being truly independent? So how do you suggest parents navigate those boundaries?
That's a really good question, and it's all about balance. It's about supporting them without just enabling them, right?
Right.
Honestly, open communication is key. Talking openly about what kind of financial help, if any, you're willing to give, for how long, and under what circumstances, that's crucial. Maybe you help with those initial moving expenses, but you set a clear time frame for how long that help will last. The goal is for them to really learn to manage their money with a safety net for true emergencies, not everyday stuff.
And that's where the emergency fund comes in, right? The article mentions aiming for 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved up.
Yes.
Which, to someone just starting out, can sound impossible.
It can seem like a mountain. Absolutely.
So what are some, real doable first steps they can take towards building that fund?
It doesn't have to happen overnight. Even starting small, like setting a goal of saving $500 or even just 1 month's rent, that can build momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Setting up automatic transfers to a dedicated savings account, even small amounts, can make a big difference over time. Thinking practically, if their essential expenses each month, so rent, utilities, groceries, and transportation, add up to, say, $1,500, a 3-month emergency fund would be $4,500. Breaking it down like that makes it less overwhelming.
Okay, so now let's talk about where they're actually going to live. Housing costs. And usually renting is the first step.
Yeah.
The article reminds us about those upfront costs, the security deposit, maybe first and last month's rent, and then, of course, you need furniture. That's a lot of money to come up with all at once.
It really is, and they absolutely have to factor that in, when it comes to renting versus buying down the line. There's a bunch of things to think about. How stable is their job? How long do they plan to stay in that area? What are their long-term financial goals? Renting gives you flexibility. Buying can help you build equity over time, but it comes with significant upfront costs and a lot of ongoing responsibility. And while they're renting, the article has a good point about renters insurance. It's not that expensive, and it protects their belongings in case of theft, fire, things like that. Something a lot of young people don't think about until it's too late.
That's so true. Renter's insurance. Such a small price to pay for peace of mind. Now let's talk about something a lot of people, especially those who just graduated, have to deal with: student loans.
Yes.
And the article stresses the importance of having a repayment plan. Ignoring those bills will come back to bite you.
100%. First things first, understanding the loan terms, the interest rates, and the different repayment options available is key. There might be things like income-driven repayment plans, depending on their situation, and it's not just about paying off the debt, it's also about building a good credit score.
Right.
Paying all their bills on time, not just loans, and keeping that credit utilization low, meaning they're not maxing out their credit cards, that's really important for their credit history. Think of it like their financial track record. Lenders will check that out in the future.
Thinking ahead, the article emphasizes the importance of starting retirement savings early. It could be a 401k, through their job, or an IRA they set up themselves.
Right,
It might seem like forever away, but that head start can make a huge difference because of compounding.
right.
Can you give us a quick rundown of why starting early is so powerful?
It's all about the magic of compounding. Let's say they invest $100 every month starting at age 22. Over the years, the returns on that money also start earning returns. It just snowballs. Even small amounts invested consistently early on have a lot more time to grow compared to larger amounts started later.
Mm-hmm.
And a 401k is often offered through an employer, and sometimes they even match your contributions. It's like free money towards retirement. An IRA or individual retirement account is something they can set up on their own.
Right.
And both offer tax advantages to encourage saving.
Yeah, that employer match for the 401k is huge. Definitely take advantage of that if it's an option. Another big transition with moving out is health insurance.
Right.
If they've been on your plan, now they need to figure out their own options. And that can be really confusing.
Absolutely. They'll probably have options through their employer, or they might need to check out the health insurance marketplace. What they really need to understand are the premiums, which is what they pay every month, the deductible, which is how much they have to pay out of pocket before the insurance kicks in, and then the co-pays, those fixed amounts they pay for certain services.
Mm-hmm.
It's about weighing the costs versus the coverage they need.
Yeah, it's a whole new language to learn.
It is.
Finally, the article touches on financial literacy in general. Things like filing taxes on their own. Understanding deductions and credits can really have a big impact on our finances.
Oh, yeah. Learning to navigate taxes is such a valuable skill. They might qualify for certain tax credits or deductions that they don't even know about, which can put money back in their pocket. And even a basic understanding of investing beyond retirement accounts, like low-cost index funds, those are essentially baskets of different stocks that offer diversification, can get them started on building long-term wealth. It doesn't have to be complicated. The key is to start somewhere and learn as they go.
Right. So we've covered a good amount of ground on what your child is facing financially. Now let's switch gears and see how this big change affects you, the empty nesters.
Okay.
Now things get interesting. The article immediately jumps into reassessing your budget.
Mm-hmm.
One less person in the house presumably means some more wiggle room, right?
What really stands out is the opportunity to be more intentional with your money. You've probably been working with a certain budget for years. Now is the time to take a good, hard look at where your money's going.
Right.
The article suggests using those freed up funds to maybe boost your own savings and investments, or finally going after some personal goals you've had on hold.
Yeah, and it's a chance to really think about that discretionary spending. Maybe those travel plans you've always dreamed of, or taking up a hobby you never had time for. You might have more space in your budget now for things that bring you joy.
Absolutely. And with that newfound financial flexibility, your own retirement planning is a key area to revisit. The article highlights the potential to increase your contributions to your 401k, IRA, or other retirement accounts. If retirement is still a few years away, this is a prime time to really ramp up your savings, maybe even make up for some lost time.
It really is. It's also a good opportunity to take a fresh look at your overall retirement timeline. Are you still on track with your current savings rate? Do you need to tweak your strategy based on when you see yourself retiring and what you think your expenses will be then?
Right. And this brings up another important question about Social Security. The article talks about planning the optimal time to claim your benefits. There's no one-size-fits-all answer. It depends on your individual situation, your life expectancy, your financial needs. Claiming benefits earlier will reduce your monthly benefit, but delaying it can significantly increase it. It's a decision worth researching or even talking to a financial advisor about.
Now, with the kids out of the house, some people might start thinking about their living situation. The article mentions maybe downsizing if the family home now feels too big. That could mean lower mortgage payments, lower property taxes, less money spent on maintenance.
And tying that back into your overall financial picture, downsizing could free up a lot of capital that you could then put towards your retirement savings, investments, or those personal goals we discussed. Alternatively, if you love your home but just want to lower your monthly expenses, the article also suggests looking into refinancing your mortgage or even paying it off entirely if that aligns with your long-term financial strategy and risk tolerance.
Another really important area the article covers is health and long-term care planning, making sure you have enough health insurance coverage as you get closer to retirement and once you're in it is essential.
What's critical here is planning for those potential future healthcare needs. The article brings up long-term care insurance as a way to help cover the costs of things like assisted living, nursing homes, in-home care. Those can be incredibly expensive, and if you're not prepared, they could eat into your retirement savings.
Hmm.
And if you have a high-deductible health plan, maxing out your contributions to a health savings account, HSA, is something to think about. It's a triple tax advantage. Your contributions are tax-deductible, the money grows tax-free, and then withdrawals for qualified medical expenses are also tax-free.
It's also a good time to think about estate planning. The article highlights the need to go back and update your will to reflect your current wishes, which might include new considerations for your now financially independent child.
Right. And beyond the will, it's super important to set up financial and medical power of attorney documents. These designate someone you trust to handle your finances and healthcare decisions if you become unable to do so yourself. For those with more complex financial situations or larger estates, the article mentions considering different types of trusts for asset protection and to potentially make the transfer of assets to your beneficiaries smoother.
When it comes to your investments, the article suggests taking a look at your risk tolerance as you get closer to retirement. You might want to shift towards a more conservative portfolio to protect the assets you've built up.
And to potentially bring in extra incomes during retirement, the article mentions exploring passive income streams. This could be things like rental income from a property, dividends from certain types of stocks, or annuities, which can provide a steady stream of income. These options can offer more financial security and flexibility once you're retired.
It's also a smart idea to reassess your overall insurance needs.
Hmm.
The article specifically mentions taking a look at your life insurance coverage now that your child is financially independent. Your needs there might have changed quite a bit.
For sure. And if your net worth has grown over time, the article talks about umbrella insurance. Think of it as extra liability protection that goes on top of your homeowners and auto insurance, providing an extra layer of security for your assets in case you get sued.
This new phase can also free you up to go after new financial goals, just for yourself.
Right.
The article talks about saving for those bucket list items, maybe a dream vacation, a new hobby, even going back to school.
What's exciting here is that the focus shifts towards your own aspirations.
Right.
The article also mentions looking into opportunities for charitable giving if that's something you care about. It's a time to really align your finances with your personal values and enjoy the rewards of all your hard work.
Of course, even though your child is independent, you'll probably still want to help them out if they really need it.
Right.
Maybe in a real emergency. The article advises providing guidance, but really encouraging them to be self-sufficient financially. It's a tricky balance to strike.
Absolutely. Having an open conversation beforehand about when you might be willing to step in with financial support and what that support might look like can avoid misunderstandings and set clear expectations for both of you.
Finally, for those of you who aren't quite ready to retire or are looking for new challenges, the article touches on reassessing your career and income. This could be a great time to explore new career paths, think about consulting, or even take on a part-time job that interests you and provides some extra income.
And looking at ways to diversify your income streams, maybe through rental properties or freelance work, can give you added financial security and flexibility as you approach or enter retirement.
So as you can see, moving into the empty nest stage isn't just an emotional shift, it's a big financial one too, with things to consider for both you and your child.
Absolutely.
But the key takeaway here is that this doesn't have to be a time of financial loss. It's a major financial transition, but it also opens up new opportunities for both your child and for you.
And by thinking through these points ahead of time, you can navigate this change with more confidence, make smart financial decisions, and ultimately build a secure and fulfilling financial future for everyone involved.
So as you look ahead to this new chapter, what's the one financial adjustment for yourself that you're most excited about in this new phase?
Yeah,
It's a really powerful question to think about, and it might just be the very first step into this next adventure.
it is.
Okay, that's our deep dive for today. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everyone.